Welcome to the latest Watercolors Aquarium Gallery podcast, brought to you from the Aquarium Rush Studios in beautiful, bright, and sunny downtown Grand Rapids, Michigan. My name's Ben.
I'm Amy.
And I'm Charles.
I think we're going to get some letters for this one, some emails. I'm hoping.
Yeah, maybe just from seeing the title.
So hopefully a lot of you out there listened to our top 5 least favorite cichlids episode. And I don't know, maybe we had a little too much fun doing that one. And we thought, what's another fish that needs to get poked every once in a while?
I mean, sometimes you just got to make sure it'll move.
Got to make sure it's not dead.
Yeah.
Wait, I got to cross that off my list. I'm just kidding. So, yeah, I think we're going with the top 5 reasons to hate plecos.
I don't really know how to interpret the fact that this is probably the easiest list I've written.
Amy's just in the corner when we were pitching this idea, like 1, 2.
Did you guys see all my notes on this one?
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Oh,
You have
yeah.
like detailed notes.
I know.
I just have a list.
Well, honestly, part of it's because I took notes. It's almost two separate sets of notes because I wasn't quite sure exactly how I was going to approach it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm probably going to, just kind of pick from both different methods. You know, one was like the super technical kind of, this is what frustrates me about plecos. And one was the, dude, man, this is awful kind of way. And I haven't decided which one's best, but I'm just going to run with it.
The duality of man.
How did you choose your list?
All right, so here's how I'm going to answer it.
Okay.
I actually like a lot of plecos, but I don't keep any.
Right.
So I answered this list in the... So if someone asked me, so why don't you have that at home? This would be my response.
Right.
Well, that's an interesting difference.
Yeah.
Because these are just the first 5 things that popped into my head.
I imagine they're actually going to be really similar to your list.
I would think that a lot of these are going to overlap.
I went with a little more of a, when somebody brings up this, just how bad do my eyes roll?
Boom, 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 boom.
I think I'm going to be a little more critical here. I need a pen, though, because I need to be able to scratch stuff off.
Only if you can be trusted not to click it.
He's
Is
better
there one
than
that
me.
doesn't click? Because I can't be...
No.
Did you see what I did to this little roll of tape?
Nothing is safe within a 3-foot
No,
radius
I'm
of
good
this
with
table.
I'll behave. I promise. I mean, I guess I don't promise. That's a better choice for me. Thanks, Charles. Charles just took the time to reach over to the bookkeeper's desk and steal one of her pens.
Now I got to get it out of my reach.
But it can't click, so you don't get that tick, 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 tick sound as a background noise.
You'll just get all sorts of other weird sounds.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
All right, so are we ready to start?
I think let's
Enough
just
small talk?
Let's dive in.
All right. Well, I'm going to start with, to me, the reason as a person who has to sell these things
That's perfect.
drives me the most insane. You never see them. That's just it. You never
That
see
is
them.
number
Right.
1 on my list.
Yeah.
And as a person who's trying to sell these things, nobody ever sees them. I can have someone walk up to me and say, "Oh, you guys don't carry fancy plecos, do you? I've been looking for
We've got like 6
Yeah,
species right now.
exactly.
Here, and here.
Oh, and that one that's on your Holy Grail list? Yeah, we have it. You just never saw it." Drives me up the wall. It doesn't get much better when they get home into your own tanks either, but at least you know they're there.
That was definitely one of mine too, and I brought it up, and I had a little conversation in my head. Well, maybe it's a collaboration of a number of different conversations I've had with people about this very topic, right? So, why does my fish hide? Make it come out. It was expensive. And the response is, well, they're nocturnal. Okay, so what can I do to see him? It comes out at night. And then the response is, yeah, but what do I do about that? Look at him at night. But I want him to come out during the day.
Well, buddy.
It would would be kind of cool to see somebody try and do that like reverse day-night cycle thing with some nocturnal fish.
Yeah.
You know, where you just pump in some red light during the day and have it on at night.
I've seen that done, and you can see them, but it depends on the pleco, because if they've got some really good contrasting colors, you'll see them.
Yeah.
But they're really kind of designed to be invisible at night.
Yeah.
It works.
So like you're maybe more likely to see the lump of your pleco moving, but you won't be able to make out the detail.
Remember when we had the royal zebras in, and there were two people that came in and like, oh, you have royal zebras? I've never seen one. And we had pieces of driftwood in the tank, and we had to pull out the piece of driftwood and shine a flashlight in a hole. Like, we couldn't even just shine a flashlight into the tank. We had to actually physically remove the piece of driftwood to see.
Like, if you peer down into this sliver in this piece of wood, you'll see one black and one white stripe, and that's the fish.
That's the fish. Whoa, it's awesome. I'll take him. Really?
In our dreams.
No, they bought them.
We actually did sell those when we had them in.
I jokingly like to refer to plecos as like Sasquatch fish. Like, you're only going to see them occasionally at a distance, at a weird angle, and they're going to be blurry.
I mean, this may be a trend throughout this whole thing, but pleco keepers are masochists, right?
Yeah. But there's something. I'm going to go with there's something special about pleco keepers.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They're definitely special.
Absolutely. You know, Sasquatch pleco would be a much better and more appropriate name than Starlight pleco. I mean, come on, Starlight pleco? Of course, it's a beautiful pleco if you can actually see it. Mm-hmm. But it's not this beam of light attracting you to the aquarium.
Oh, he's in that corner, guys.
The angels sing and they run out of breath while you're trying to find the fish.
Hang on. He usually hangs out under this piece of driftwood. Nope. He's somewhere else.
Wrong piece of driftwood. Hang on. I'll find him. No, I'll find him.
No, I swear. He's right here.
And it's to their own detriment, too. Like, we would keep so many more plecos if we knew that if people could see some of these fish, we would sell them all day. But we don't stock plecos because nobody will buy them, because even the people who keep plecos can't see them when we do.
They can't see them when they keep their own. So, you know, just set up a really densely aquascaped tank and just tell people you have them in there.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Think of the most expensive, crazy ones you can think of.
Oh, I don't want to mess up the
Or make one up.
Yeah.
I was like, are you talking about... this is like the... the invisible dog leash of like fish aquarium.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Maybe more like the pet rock.
Did you have Because You Never See Him on your list as well?
I did. That was actually number one on my list.
Yeah, that was on my list too.
To anyone listening, yes, we do pretty much always have at least 3 species of pleco in stock. Please just ask us.
Yeah.
We'll do our best to find them for you.
Yeah. Maybe we just need to get a lot more specific on which tanks they're in.
Maybe.
So people always know. Well, so I always know which tank to look in.
Right.
Maybe we just need to do, how we like put those sticky notes on like tanks, like just do that with pleco tanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Look, there's a
No,
leopard
sir.
frog pleco in here.
something very specific that says when it's been sold too, right? There's
Yeah.
nothing worse than spending 25 minutes looking for a fish that isn't there.
Yeah.
Oh, I sold him yesterday. How would I have known?
Yeah.
All right, Charles, what's your number 2?
I almost kind of want to do this list where Amy just lists. I know you have more, so it won't work. But I almost wanted to just go through and like see if Amy and I have the exact same list.
All right. Well, at least put forth one, because I think we probably do.
Yeah. So let me see. I want someone else to read this out loud because I think the delivery will be better. So I have this arrow here. Can you tell me what it says there, or is my hand in the way?
They get too damn big.
Yes,
Wait,
that's exactly
I
what
need my pen.
Yup.
Yeah.
Okay, so for this one, you're obviously referring very specifically to Pterogliba. I always mess this name up. What you formerly Hypostomus plecostomus, the common pleco,
Yeah.
right? And now it is Pterogliba Loricariidae.
I'm really proud of you.
And
right
there's
now.
3 or 4 different species.
Yeah.
But Pterygoplecthes is the genus, formerly Hypostomus plecostomus.
And I'm also including some of the other species. Like I really like gold nugget plecos, but I've never had a situation where I'm like, yeah, I can deal with a 10-inch pleco in this tank.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
pretty much anything Panac. The sailfins, is that one of the in that genus? The one you just listed that I
Yes.
already forgot the name of.
I think that's the Pterygoplectes. Now I messed the name. I was doing good the first 3 times, and now it's.
This is distraction, but are there any plecos called plecostomus anymore then?
It was a species. It was never a genus. I don't know if there's currently.
It's so funny that we could refer to this entire group of fish by a name that none of them go by.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with pterodactyls.
This is the family Loricariidae, which is the plecos. And yeah, is there still a plecostomus? We need to find that one out.
Fun fact, and I just want to share this with the group. I learned that those snowball plecos are a berry and citrus, and I didn't know that until this Saturday. I don't know how I went this long in this store with those fish right under my nose without knowing that, because I'd never seen a male, or at least not one with, the bristles.
Well, Charles, the more you know.
Exactly. I was like, whoa, what is that? And I did it right in front of a customer, and he was, of course, the one customer who would know. I was like, whoa, what's up with this? Why does he have bristles on his face? He didn't and he goes, oh, that's a berry and citrus. And I was like, what?
That is the good news on this point, is that if you've got a tank that's at least 20 gallons, maybe at least 30 gallons, pretty much anything with citrus in it is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Many of the penakes are actually.
Really?
Yes.
They just, even a fish that gets 8 to 10 inches is still way too huge for me to consider.
Yeah, there's plenty of the penakes in the 4. I mean,
Like,
it's
say
a
the 4 or
huge,
5.
It's a huge group.
Yeah, but a lot of them, it's like it's 50-50. Some of them get huge and some of them don't. But there's definitely a very clear, if we get a phone call and somebody says, I got this fish and now it's huge and I don't know what to do, I can pretty much already predict what it is, and I can guarantee it's already a baby.
Yeah.
The common pleco that you're going to get at a chain store or a grocery store will get 2 feet long.
Does not belong in the hobby.
Yeah, there's a 75-gallon aquarium, a 125. Those are still too small, but that's about the best that fish can ever expect to go into.
Right. There are a few out there. I know somebody's listening right now that's got a 180 or a 220 or an indoor pond.
Or some other crazy thing they've built in their garage.
Do you know what I say to them? I say cheers to them.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, there we go.
Cheers. There we go.
We're actually cheersing to that. Somebody
Clink.
who's actually going to keep that fish right.
Clink.
But I had to take a drink after that. But to sell a fish like that as the most common pleco in the hobby to be one of the extreme least appropriate. There are some of them that get even bigger. There are plecos that get into the 4 feet range. Monsters.
I'm just picturing someone trying to wrestle one like an alligator or something.
Yeah. There's some
You may
amazing
die.
photographs. Yeah. There's some amazing photographs of some really big plecos out there. Pleco species. Loricariidae. Maybe we should try to correct that now. We're not going to.
No.
But to those people that are willing to keep it right, cheers. To those stores and those wholesalers that continue to carry common plecos, please send me a long, detailed letter explaining why that doesn't include because people still buy them.
Are you going to put your email right here?
aquariumservices@sbcglobal.net.
There we go.
How's that?
And-
Was that a little too...
And the response will be crickets. I don't get it. But even for those people with those big tanks, yes, I salute you, but I mean, you could have had 2 Bashirs instead of 1 for the space that fish takes up. They create so much waste,
Yeah.
But they do have personalities.
They do.
They do.
And so
They
for the
do.
people who can take care of them properly, I feel like they're rewarded for that fish's behavior.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fair. They're just cooler
It's just
big
so
fish.
hard to do.
Yeah.
If you do see those fish at watercolors, it's because we took them in and do the best we can with finding them a good home. We don't always find them a 180-gallon or larger home. We just can't. There's too many of them out there.
Yeah, but we can get them out of a 10-gallon tank, and that's what we're going to try to do.
Yeah, for sure.
We have, the entire time I've been affiliated with this company, we've never ordered one of those.
No.
No, we haven't.
So
I have never, in 14 years now that I've been doing it professionally, I've never ordered a common Plecostomus. And no, they don't just grow to the size of your tank, which, most of our listening audience is going to be a little bit of a step up. But the amount of times we get people in the store today, and actually over the weekend with somebody that I know well, somebody said something about, yeah, but if you just put that in a small tank, then it'll stay that size, right? No, it won't. If you buy a 2-inch Pleco and somehow manage to keep it healthy in a 5.5-gallon tank, you'll get somebody like Lumpy.
yeah.
Actually, that was in a 15-gallon tank.
That was in a 30-gallon tank,
30?
I think. Yeah, because it was that Pleco, a Bala shark that was pretty much full grown, and some Siamese algae eaters.
Oh,
that
that's
was
right.
that tank. And they had it in I think a 30 tall or something.
And they were doing water changes, like massive water changes twice a week.
Yeah, which
still
wasn't enough.
Not even close to enough. But the fish had a deformed spine because it couldn't straighten out in the tank. It was too big.
Yeah, if it was attached to the glass, it did not lay flat. Its tail was elevated off because of how deformed it was
Right.
from growing up in those conditions.
Yep.
So not worth it. Don't buy it. The only way to get them out of the hobby is to convince everyone not to buy them.
No one that buys a fish is rescuing it. I'm going to say that one again. No one that buys a fish is rescuing it. If you buy a fish from a store because you feel sorry for it, if you give them money because you feel sorry for the conditions that fish is being kept in, they'll just get another one.
Yeah, they don't care why you bought it.
Right. If you go to the grocery store that have their little bettas in their cups, they look so sad. I felt sorry. I just needed to save that fish. You just condemned another one. Okay, off the soapbox. This is supposed to be fun and tongue-in-cheek. Too damn big.
Yes.
Good one, Charles.
So, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, this is a little bit about size, but I feel like we need to almost put a redaction on our last episode. I cannot believe we didn't talk about bristlenose plecos in our top 5 human-made fish.
I know.
When I
was
went to
thinking
write this
about
down,
that
I was
today.
like, what is wrong with us? We didn't even mention bristlenose plecos. That probably should have been number 1.
That's the best human-made fish.
It really is. It's just too good.
Yeah.
We forgot that it was man-made.
For those wondering what the heck we're talking about, bristlenose plecostomuses are not a true species. They are a hybrid, and nobody is exactly sure where that hybrid came from. They developed in a wholesaler, they believe, or an exporter somewhere down in South America, where plecos came from, where that wholesaler inadvertently or on purpose put a number of different species of Ancestris together.
Maybe
and
some berry ancestris. Who
Maybe
knows?
some berry Ancestris, we don't know. And boom, we have the ever popular and fantastic algae-eating fish we have in the hobby today.
Yeah.
The bristlenose pleco gets nowhere near the size of the common pleco.
And there are tons of plecos in the 3 to 5 inch range. Seriously, tons. There are so many species of pleco, and a lot of them
And they
are
can
doable.
be as ugly or as cute as you want them to be. I know people who like rubber lip plecos because, let's admit it, guys, they're ugly. But they're ugly in a cute way.
Someone starts typing furiously.
That looks like a pleco that was allergic to bees and got stung in the lips.
Exactly.
Aw.
I love it.
On the big tank, so actually one of mine is directly related to the big tank thing. And so we're just going to call it still part of the discussion on the get too damn big thing.
Wait, did Charles still have something for that last that you needed to say? I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you do
Okay,
your thing.
okay, cool. Moving on.
So common plecostomuses are now established in 22 countries.
Ugh.
Established.
That gave me a chill.
Right. They are established in 22 countries because well-meaning people, well-intended people, though very misguided, decided their fish was too big and they wanted it to have a better home, and so they released it into the wild. They are wiping stuff out. There was actually a resort in Nutan, Mexico. I'm saying that name completely wrong. It's something like Nututan. And yes, there's 2 sets of UTs in there, right? Something like that. That they had this pool, not swimming pool, like a river pooled, got into made a little larger bit of a basin that was connected to the hotel, and they thought it had too much algae in it. And people would slip on the rocks. So they introduced plecos to that pool.
Yikes.
Now you cannot walk across the pool because you will step on plecos, because it is solid. It looks like it's the bottom is black and it should be gray because it's solid plecos. And they are now more than 40 miles downstream, wiping out populations of cichlids because they raid nests. They don't just eat algae. They're opportunistic. They're an omnivore pleco.
What?
Yeah, and so they and they're armored. They're considered an armored catfish. So plecos, if they peck at them, the catfish, the pleco doesn't care. If cichlids peck at them, sorry. If cichlids, did I say cichlids? Sorry.
Yeah. Cichlids are great parents. They will do
They are.
everything to stop other fish from attacking their young.
The cichlids in Central America are not built to defend against plecos. Cichlids in South America, where they are found, are built to defend against them. The ones in Mexico are not, so they are being wiped out by plecos. In Blue Spring State Park in Florida, which is one of the manatee nurseries, Google this. Like right now, you're sitting at your computer when you get home, Google Blue Spring State Park, Florida pleco, and you can see pictures of Florida manatees rubbing all over to try to get the plecos off their back. And there's pictures of them with like 15 or 16 plecos scraping the backs of the manatees in Blue Spring State Park in Florida. In Texas, they are undermining the riverbed. So the way common plecos reproduce is they dig, this foot-long, 16-inch, 2-foot-long fish. The females, the males dig this hole 3 or 4 feet into a mud bank. And they incubate the eggs inside 3 or 4 feet deep into that mud bank. And so if you could imagine riverbanks that aren't designed to have 3-foot holes drilled into them every 3 or 4 feet, the banks collapse. And so it erodes, it's silting up the streams and eroding the sides of the riverbanks in Mexico. They're on 4 different Caribbean islands. They are in China. They are in Thailand. They're in Singapore. Because they have been released by people who think they're doing something good for their fish.
Euthanize it instead.
It's a better choice.
Yeah. To call plecos invasive is an understatement.
Right.
I think they're listed as one of the top. I think they're on the top 100 most invasive species list.
That could easily be. So what to do if you have a pleco and you're listening to this and you go, oh, what do I do? First, contact local stores and see if they will take them. There are some fish rescues out there. Some of them are questionable. Some of them aren't. When it comes to what you're going to do with this pleco, even the questionable ones are better than nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Get a really big tank. If you can't get a big tank, if you can't find a store that will take it, if you can't bring it to a fish rescue, the ethical thing to do at this point is to euthanize that fish.
Yeah, that's definitely a tough conversation I've had to have with some of our newer employees where, they'll come and ask if they have something and they're not really sure like what the right choice is here. And we've had a customer who had bought 4 of them for her small tank. And as they grew, realized that she had to do something and upgraded. And now she has a 125. And one of the staff members came to me and says, like, hey, do you think this is okay? Isn't that kind of small for 4 2-foot fish? And I said, yes, it is. But man, are those fish lucky.
Yeah. Compared to their friends,
Yeah.
or their tank mates, or their whoever they were born with.
They're conspecifics.
Conspecifics. Thank you for saving me on that one. I knew there was the right term out there. I just couldn't find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a little dark there.
That's a tough one.
It
That one
is.
makes me
It is.
mad.
Yeah.
It's just, what a scam.
And there's so many other good choices. Did we say that enough yet?
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
why, like, what a scam. What a waste. Why sell it? They're
Right.
dumb.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of really cool ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there are.
Hundreds.
I have that as part of my. I actually have a little joke about that, and we'll get to it when we, once
well, I
we
mean,
get
it
through
is your
these five.
turn.
It is my turn.
Yeah, it is.
All right.
The world is your oyster.
So here's a conversation. Hey, I have a spotted brown pleco. What is it? The spots are yellow. Oh, then it's a gold nugget. Oh wait, is it an L18 or an L177 or an L81 or an L85? I don't know. It's the one with the gold spots. The one with the gold spots. That's probably the Galaxy. So that's an L007. Oh no, wait, maybe it's an L136. No, an L201. Oh no, I meant to say an L471. Okay, so when it comes to plecos, there are somewhere between 600 and 800 known species so far. Those are not described species, but those are known to, I guess I have to say it this way, probably different species. 600 to 800. And about half of them that have spots, about the other half of them have stripes.
Not to mention, you may only think they're yellow spots because your water has tannins in it, and that opens up another dozen species it could be.
Exactly, it does. It does. There's so many of them. Which one do you have? Like, hey, I got this one with spots. Oh, and then common names. Right?
Yeah.
There's the galaxy, the yellow galaxy, the starlight galaxy. There were 3 other galaxies. Those are the ones I wrote down. But
I'm actually thankful when someone comes in and they can just give me an L number.
exactly. Yeah, that's how do you order a pleco
Yeah.
with an L number?
And we get sent a picture. Can you get me one of these?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably. What is it?
Right. So gold nugget, right? You brought up gold nugget, and with a big 10-inch fish, there are actually 4 L numbers that are gold nuggets,
Yeah.
right? L18, L177, L81, and L85. L177 and L85, I think those are the 2. And somebody's got to call me out saying, no, it's the other 2. But 2 of them, they figured out are the same one, because one of them that looks just like L18, which is, that's the standard of, around here at least, of the gold nuggets, right? As a juvenile, it looks almost indistinguishable from L18. As an adult, it loses all of its spots. It's just brown.
It's like a minesweeper here.
Yeah, as a 14-inch adult. L81, I believe, looks almost identical to L18, only the yellow edges on the fins are much thinner, and that one only gets about 6 inches.
Okay.
Then there's the yellow spot galaxy pleco, which some people also try to call a gold nugget pleco. And that's the one that's my joke about, oh, that's L007. Oh, maybe that's 136. Oh, L201. And if you Google galaxy pleco, you get all of those options that come up with those L numbers. Amy, when you said, I want a picture of this, that's exactly the challenge that scientists are having with trying to identify all of these different species of plecos. So one of the amazing things about plecos, and this is why I love them so much, and by the way, the title of our talk
hate them.
is, right? The reason that there are so many different kinds is like, it's very similar to the reason there are so many different kinds of umbuna in Lake Malawi. They have this really cool, small parental care, small brood reproduction strategy. So the young don't stray really far from the adults. They stick kind of close by. And then they live in these ecosystems that are just super varied. So there's all these geographical barriers and geological barriers and physiological barriers, but to keep them confined to a certain area. Every once in a while, something gets washed down, but then those populations stay separate for millennia, and new species are formed.
Sometimes just by a big tree.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's it. So if you look at a map of the Amazon River Basin that has all of the tributaries, there's a different species of pleco in each section of each individual tributary of that river system. So identifying one, some of them, of course, from one tributary to the next, it's a good strategy when you're in that area to have spots. So they both have spots. Completely different fish. Anyway, so there we go. There's my reason for disliking plecos, because you can't identify them.
That is a good reason. That's actually not one of mine.
No?
No.
I knew I could come up with one. Ha! Was that one of yours, Charles?
It was not.
It was not?
Mm-mm.
We need to like make a mirror of these lists because yeah, they're impossible to identify, but on the other side of that is there's so many of them to play with.
That makes them amazing.
Yeah.
Yep,
What's
that
really
makes them
crazy
amazing.
to me is two different species that look almost exactly the same can behave like entirely differently too.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, 4 main feeding strategies with plecos.
Wait.
Yeah,
'Kay.
let's see.
Let's pull back there.
Pull back, which that's a teaser. I'm not going to go into that now, but
Well, maybe we can just go into it because
okay.
one of my reasons to hate plecos is they don't eat algae. Or most of them don't.
Most of them don't.
So most of them may eat some algae sometimes. How about that?
Yeah.
Some of them.
Except Bristlenose, they eat algae all the time.
I was
Yes.
going to say, I would argue that most plecos don't eat algae, but many of them pick it up incidentally because of their feeding strategy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And we could go on and on about things being considered algae eaters and what that means for an aquarium. But if you're relying on a fish to eat all of your film algae, then you've got maybe some bigger problems here.
But wait, what am I supposed to get to clean my tank?
Well, you have these things called hands.
Boom. I set them up, you hit them out of the park. Yeah.
Yes.
Feeding.
So what do plecos eat?
4 different feeding strategies when it comes to plecos.
Yay.
See,
There
there
are
you go.
the-
You just had to wait.
Okay, sorry. I just got so excited. There are the Aufwok feeders,
Mhm.
which, what is Aufwok? That is, if you...
You know, that's when you say, "Oh."
Oh,
And the age bracket for our
there we
podcast
go.
just doubled.
all right. So it is a German word to describe that mulm that grows on rocks underwater.
It's gunk.
Gunk. So it's going to have some algae in it. It's going to have some bacteria in it. It's going to have some other stuff in it.
Yeah, you know,
Aufwok.
poop, because plecos eat poop too, or so I've been told.
Right. Yeah, they're great. They're great tank cleaners that way. They keep everything nice and clean.
They're being sarcastic. Don't listen to these guys.
But if you see that slime layer that's sort of greenish brownish, that's Aufwok.
Mm-hmm.
Then there are the omnivores. And omnivores, some of them eat plant material, some of them eat just algae. And then go over the opportunistic. We'll go with that, right? They'll eat insect larvae. They'll eat bacteria, Aufwok, algae, all kinds of. Pretty much, if it's organic, they'll eat it. There are the very specialized wood eaters, which is a crazy thing to eat
Yeah.
because there's so little nutrition in wood.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys need to be munching all the time.
Yum, 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 yum.
If you want to talk about pleco poop, nothing produces more pleco poop than a wood-eating plecostomus.
But it is like a very unique poop because it's like it is like wood shavings almost. It's really bizarre.
Basically sawdust slime.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have these exceptionally long digestive tracts because they've got to send that wood through all kinds of different kinds of bacteria inside their gut to be able to extract at least a little bit of nutrition from it, right? And so that's why they need to keep on eating. And when you eat that much, you poop that much. You're they're pooping out all of the stuff from wood that has no nutritional value to them, which, let's face it, that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So one of the challenges with keeping the Aufwach eaters is keeping them with carnivorous fish or fish that specialize in eating like insect larvae or bloodworms, like discus, for example. Don't keep wood eaters with discus. Yes, the wood eaters will not mess with your discus, but your discus need to be fed a very high percentage of protein, of lots of beef heart and bloodworms and real good meaty foods. Invariably, the plecos are going to get those meaty foods, and their digestive tract is so long that protein will rot inside their digestive tract. Ew.
You just made me connect a dot, though, because we've had a couple of people having mystery issues with Colombian zebra plecos lately. And I'm wondering maybe that's the mystery issue, because
could
they
be.
are a wood eater.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I'd keep those with discus.
Yeah. And, well, if you're feeding bug bites and bloodworms, you might be having issues.
Really watch. Only feed as much as your surface fish will eat it. That stuff hits the bottom, the plecos eat it. They could be in trouble.
I might have to bring that up with some people.
Yeah. Then there are the carnivores. There are plecos whose lifestyle is designed around feeding on meat. Sometimes that's catching bugs or critters or worms or things like that. Sometimes they're actual hunters, and they will latch on and start devouring. They have some pretty impressive looking teeth. I believe the L46.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a carnivorous one.
That's a carnivorous one. Yeah.
That's what makes that pleco a pain to deal with.
Yes.
Because it's teeny tiny, it hides all the time, it will not compete, and you still have to feed it meaty foods.
And it's a $250 pleco.
It's got everything, you guys.
Yeah. They are an amazing pleco.
They're still one of my favorites, just because that was for me, that was the first one that, like, that was the one that opened the door for me when someone being like, yeah, so this is a carnivorous pleco. And I was like, oh, what?
Oh, what?
wait, go back.
You mean there's one that doesn't eat algae?
And then that opened the floodgates of, well,
Whoosh.
technically.
Right.
I was like, wow.
Yeah, but just jam some bloodworms in the hole it usually hangs out in and hope it's getting it. Good luck with your fish.
That's about that. Yeah. I don't know that I would keep those with discus either, because they are going to try to feed on the slime layer of the discus.
Yeah.
That sweet, sweet slime layer.
That's definitely a fish that's better off being kept in a smaller tank so you can really monitor it anyway.
And focused on. Yeah, I agree. Because then you can have this tank full of fish that you don't see.
Yeah, exactly. And who wants anything other than that?
The takeaway from that little thing about plecos and feeding, make sure you know exactly what that pleco eats, because some of them eat very different things than others.
If you want specialized algae eaters, don't go to fish that live in tannic water because there's not a lot of algae growing there.
Algae there. Wow, that was just like one of those. The dim light showed through the shadow of the tannin and shined right above me, and suddenly I understood what you said. Like, damn, that makes a lot of sense.
The one beam of light you'll get to see that day.
That's it. Wait. All right, so they don't clean tanks. They don't eat algae. They're invasive.
You never see them.
You never see them.
They get too damn big.
Too damn big.
Yep, sticking to that one.
Pain in the butt to tell apart.
I got one for you.
What's the next one?
You ready?
Yeah.
You can't just have one. Like, once a person gets into keeping plecos, they never commit to just one species in their tanks.
Oh, they are addictive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, name one person who is committed to one species of pleco. Even that guy that brought in the ones he bred, he brought in 2 different species.
Yeah, he was bringing them in the same tank, and it worked.
Yeah.
That is a pretty good candidate for, you want a multi-species breeding setup. Do 5 or 6 different kinds of plecos that can't interbreed, but eat the same kinds of foods.
That would be pretty cool.
If it's the same genus, they can interbreed. Some can cross genera and interbreed, so definitely do some checking on that.
But it would also benefit from a, 420 gallons breeding setup. You could just crank through 4 pleco species at a time.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Once you go down that rabbit hole, you're going down that rabbit
The
hole.
people who specialize in plecos, I do really have some affection for because you're fighting a losing battle there. There's no way you will ever breed every species of pleco or keep them or see them. So you're just like Sisyphus. You're just trying to like get as many of them as possible. And that's a pretty cool person.
Yeah, they are collector fish, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
If you've managed to breed 7 species, good job. You've done 1%.
Do I know it? I bet I know a couple that have made it to 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Kevin Hightower. He's probably made it to 7.
Chase? That has to be, you know what I mean?
He's not really a pleco guy.
Okay.
No, he's an egg scatter guy and a live bear guy.
That's
He's
fair.
done a couple plecos for sure, but
Oh, well, shout out to him anyways, because that's an impressive list he's accumulated there.
yep. Let me know if you're listening and you have successfully bred more than 7 different distinct species of Plecostomus
Let us know.
or of Loricariidae catfish.
And let us know what you did, how you do it.
And send us some pictures.
Yep, I like pictures.
Yeah. We did get some pictures from the Tub Pond episode. That was pretty cool.
Nice.
Cool.
Wait, where are we?
It's your turn.
It's you.
That one was really quick. Like, there wasn't a lot to say about that one.
Yeah, you can't have just one.
Can't have just one.
I have 2 left on my list. Pick the one you don't think I have.
Pick the one you. Well, you know, I'm gonna go with why do I hate plecos? Because we always end up with them.
Oh. Yeah.
We always end up with them, which means we can't get the ones we want.
No, we
I'm
end up
just
with
kidding.
the fish that this fish got too big. Will you take it?
Yeah.
No, you know what? I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna change that. It's covering the same thing, but we get a number of people that say, "Hey, I bought this fish for $3.99 at Mr. Big Box Store, and it was only an inch long, and now it's 7 inches long. So what do you give me for it?"
Nothing.
Nothing. Yes.
Here's your prize.
Here's your prize.
Here's your prize. We will take it.
We'll take it. We'll find you a good home. And don't let it go into a lake or stream in Michigan because if you don't know that it's illegal, it's a $2,500 fine. All of you listening out there, you all know it's illegal to do that. If you know it's illegal and you do it anyway, $5,000 for releasing a non-native species into a local waterway.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Can I flip this one on you a little bit?
Yeah, flip it.
I never have enough bristlenose plecos in this store.
That's true.
Yeah, that's it. You know, we keep talking about that alternative. Don't buy common plecos. Yes, we will take them and do the best we can with them. Or buy bristlenose plecos, breed them, and trade as many of them into us as you can. We'll give you money for them, and we love them.
Yeah. You know, you get frowny face or smiley face when you come in, right?
One of the two. One of the two.
There was a time where we had 2 local people bringing us bristlenose plecos, and we had a colony in store, and I was just barely keeping up with demand here.
Barely.
And now that colony that we had in the store no longer exists, and apparently those other 2 guys are not breeding anymore because I haven't heard from them in a while, so now I got nothing.
If you're out there, please bring us bristlenose.
Yeah, I want them. We need them.
Is this the part where I make the comment about albino bristlenose or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the time.
Okay.
This is the time. I genuinely don't like those. For a very funny reason.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I love them, but you're completely justified in your reason here.
So we are also a service company. We've got 3 full-time techs on the road all week long taking care of tanks all over West Michigan. At one point, we use bristlenose plecos as algae eaters in our tanks all the time. We love them. They're great. They're very helpful. We pulled all of the albinos out of service. Sometimes people said, no, don't take the albino one. And we said, I'm sorry, we're taking it. We, from one of our accounts, got 3 dead fish phone calls. So for us, a dead fish phone call is, hey, there's a dead fish in my tank. Usually it happens in a cichlid tank when they beat each other up, right? And we run out and we take care of the dead fish. The bristlenose plecos weren't dead. They just look dead. They look like a dead thing and they don't move. We had a bristlenose pleco that in an acrylic aquarium, which as many of you know, acrylic aquariums have the built-in top, and we fill them up like pretty close to the lid on an acrylic aquarium.
No.
Right? And we had a auto feeder setting on the lid, and that bristlenose pleco attached itself to the lid of the tank.
I love it.
Right? So we get a call, there's a dead fish in my tank. Really? So I come over to the tank and I look at it and I go, the fish isn't dead. It's right there floating at the top. It's not floating at the top. It's found a place in the current right downstream from the feeder. It's fine. It's dead. And so I reached in and I poked the fish and the woman shot back, oh, it's a miracle. It's alive.
I mean, sometimes you do gotta poke them.
You do gotta poke them to see if they're not dead.
Even like a live, normal-looking one. If plecos die, they just stop. Like, they don't float right away. They don't, like, flip upside down. They just kind of stop.
Right.
So there's, like, been a couple of times where one's just a little too still, and I've had to, like, are you alive? Poke, poke, poke. And then it's like, what the heck? And it swims away.
Dude, I'm trying to sleep here.
We had a larger rescue one that one time I poked at, and it literally, like it didn't even flinch. It basically did the fish equivalent of, like, turning away a little bit. And I was like, what are you, hungover or something? Goodness. He's like, go away.
That's a great story. Just that fish was too smart for its own good.
It was. You know, we both had a really good laugh about admiring the fortitude of that particular fish.
I did not hear the detail of it hanging to the top, by the way.
That's awesome.
That was a different call.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a different tank than the 3 calls in one day for the dead fish.
Wow.
It was a different spot.
Still great.
Yeah. Fish were not dead. Cool.
Making it through. All right.
Was that your turn? Did we cover it?
That was my turn.
Okay.
Yeah. Can we all still hear each other?
Yes.
Yep.
Cool. All right. So my next one is going to be probably the biggest barrier for most people listening. The biggest reason they hate plecos. They're too expensive.
I didn't even have that on my list.
On my list, it literally is cool equals expensive.
Yep.
I kind of did. I had check out my awesome $300 fish. Wait, I can't see it.
But like people who come and ask me if we have plecos, they're almost like, please tell me no. Like, and when I tell them we do, the second question is pretty much always, how much are they?
It's hard to find a cool pleco for under $30.
Yeah.
And
those snowball plecos we got in the berry and citrus,
Mm-hmm.
they're $80, and I remember thinking that's not too bad for a pleco.
Yeah. The Colombian zebra to me, that's a $30 one, right?
Yeah.
And that I think to me, like that's the most pleco for the money.
Yeah.
You know, you want a cool pleco. It's got. I like the ones that have a stark color difference,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
which is why the royal zebra is, you know, the holy grail, because the white is white and that black is black. I mean, those are amazing.
Yeah. For any of you listening, anytime I see a pleco on the list that is 5 inches or less and less than $50, I will order it and it will be here.
And we have 3 or 4 species in stock right now.
Most of them are brown.
Yeah.
But it goes back into this whole thing we were talking about earlier, which they're so difficult to tell apart. It's difficult to find the species. Every one of those tributaries has a different species. Somebody's got to go there and go get it, or be
Right.
breeding 10 or 15 of them at a time.
Yeah. And they are slow breeders with small broods.
Yeah. It's that simple. So there's really no, it's not like, and I get those like wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah, but I mean, the cooler the name sounds, the more expensive it is. And okay, if we're talking about fancy bristlenose, absolutely. The more adjectives you add onto that fish, the more expensive it is.
The super dragon double lemon drop longfin.
Uh-huh. $1,000. Any wild species of pleco, that's just what they cost. Because somebody's got to go get it.
Right. Yeah. L118 is a really boring name.
Mm-hmm.
No, wait, what's the cactus pleco? It's not 118. I don't remember what it is.
I don't know. Cactus pleco is a pretty cool name,
It is
though.
a cool
I don't
name.
know that one.
Yeah, but most people know it as like it's the redfin sternella. You probably have seen that on the list, but
Oh, yeah.
the royal
we've had
red
them in.
cactus. Yeah, maybe it's royal red. One of those
Yeah, we
is
had
like
them in. We sat on it for 3 or 4 months.
because you never see it. Yeah, one of those is a $250 pleco, and the name it's just an L number.
Yeah. They're expensive. Sorry. Hate
Right.
them if you want.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're still kind of cool. It bugs me.
They. It's a tough sell to have an expensive fish that you're almost never going to see. It's a true hobbyist fish. Hey Nick, say it like this. It's a true hobbyist fish.
Make us sound cool, okay?
Make us sound cool.
Whoa.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
None of us had any arguments against that one, so
No,
it was
I mean,
really
you-
fast.
That's it. That's it.
That was the vine.
Yeah. Yeah.
That means that I had one unique one from you.
Yeah?
Well, I
Yep.
still have one more.
I'm out.
Okay. Oh, you are out.
I'm out.
Wow.
My list is done. You know what? And I'm okay with it.
I have one
Yeah, go for it.
that I kind of made it up right at the end. Because we covered.
I have
Right.
one left, and it's pathetic and weak.
It's pathetic and
but
weak?
I can end.
Do you
I can
wanna-
end on it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. All right. So I'm just going to go with a reason to hate plecos is L numbers.
That is also a reason why a lot of people hate them.
Yeah. Yeah. We sort of covered that in a number of our other topics, but what the heck is an L number? L number is a number assigned to members of the family Loricariidae to help distinguish different species before they're officially, or I shouldn't say it that way, to help distinguish different populations of possible species before they are officially described as a species. Because they find so many, there aren't enough taxonomists to describe them all.
Yeah, I just love how the strategy was them panicking and being like, slap a number on it and we'll get back to it.
That's it. Slap a number and I'll get back to it. Yeah, that's exactly what an L number is. And that's why when somebody comes in and says, I want a starry spot galaxy, and we look at them with this, oh, crap, just find me the L number.
This is the entire title of a post I saw on Pinterest.
Is it?
Because that's a lot of the times those come from. Is they're looking for plecos and they saw a picture and it has this as the title and they think that's what the name may be.
Right. But then the L numbers, so what happens is that eventually scientists get back around to it. And as I was talking about with the bristlenose, the L177 and L85 are the same fish.
Whoops.
They did their best
Right.
guess at the time.
Yeah.
It made sense.
It's the same fish because one person caught juveniles and another person caught adults. And they look completely different.
This is only mildly related, but I love reading old fish textbooks.
Yeah.
And they're like, look at these two different species. And then you'll think about it and you're like, oh, that's just a male and female of the same species. And I think back about I'm not making fun of those people. They were working with the information they had. They didn't have
Yeah.
the benefit of generations of people working on this to back them up.
At least it's not wrasses where there's 4 distinct color morphs.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Gotta have a lot of respect for taxonomists and researchers. And remember a lot of the times they're doing these things in the field.
Yeah.
So they really are out there.
They're getting stung by a mosquito and chased by a
They're
jaguar.
like,
Well, they're-
I don't know, 135, it's fine. Let's get
Well,
out of
they're
here.
carefully trying to put them in jars in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, you gotta love them. Well, I'll end then with probably the worst reason to hate plecos. They're boring brown fish.
Boring brown fish. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. No, let's go with that for a while. All right. So royal zebra, Plecos, not brown, not boring.
No,
Autosynclus.
the orange seam. I love that one. That's got a gray color on it.
The green phantom and the blue phantom.
Oh,
the
yeah,
blue
the
phantom
pickle
is
pleco.
actually blue.
Yeah.
The pickle pleco for the green. I've never heard that name before. I love that.
Wow, that
The
double
pickle
take was
pleco.
intense there.
Pickle pleco.
I don't know why they didn't call it that. It makes it sound really attractive.
It does.
Yeah, if you think plecos are boring brown fish, you need to get out a little more. There are so many amazing ones. A
Yeah.
lot of them are boring brown fish, but even those are really cool. Those driftwood eating, what are they? L15 or something like that we have downstairs. They're just brown fish, but they kind of look like mini whiptail catfish. They're
Oh,
so
yeah.
cool.
Right. Are they a rhino Loricariidae?
They're the one that starts with a D. Hold on.
I don't know.
Well,
There's
you're,
so many.
you're looking that up. The berry and citrus are my new favorite thing, just because I really love bristlenoses, and now I've seen one with weird contrast. It's spots, but it's a contrast.
Right. Those colors, man. What is the
They're Decusarias, I think.
Decusarius? I don't know that. What's the common name?
An L52 is a Decusaria as well. That's the Atabapo butterfly. But they're like the really flat-bodied
Oh, right.
species. Because they're driftwood eating, so they really sneak in there.
They got to be able to get between the cracks and get to the good mushy stuff.
Yum, yum, yum.
Boring
But-
brown fish. Come on.
Come on.
I don't know. There's just something attractive to me about a fish with tentacles on its face. They look ridiculous.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who don't like that, but that is immediately
Yeah.
took a pleco that I was kind of like, okay, whatever, to, all right, this is my new favorite pleco. This thing's ridiculous.
The textures that they have, too, even if they are brown, especially the ones that wiggle their way into the wood, where you can see they've got these ridges where they can go one way, but nothing can pull them out.
Yeah, don't try. You'll hurt them.
Yeah. You
Or
probably hurt yourself, too.
Right. That is a fish that it's specifically designed to not be able to be pulled out, and you will rip it in half trying, which, at that point the fish has nothing to lose because their lifestyle it's about protection. And if you're actually successful at pulling them out, the only reason you would do that from an evolutionary standpoint is to eat them. So
They're going down swinging.
they're going down swinging. Yeah. Go to the death.
They're pretty tenacious little fish.
Yeah.
Or big fish. Or a medium-sized fish.
Yeah. Or really small nanofish like Autosynclus.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about the other loricariids that aren't generally considered plecos, but you can call an auto a pleco, I think.
For sure. It's in
because
the
it's
family
not a real
Loricariidae.
word, so you can call
Right.
anything loricarid a pleco if you want to.
These are the fish that belong in almost any planted aquarium.
Yeah.
They're fantastic little. They specialize mostly on diatoms. They're mostly a brown algae feeder.
And the
But-
common auto is the least cool of the autos. It is
But
the littlest.
most readily available. I
Yeah.
think they're really cool. I love that.
Oh,
that
yeah.
big black stripe. And when you get a group of autos in a tank, they're all comfortable and happy, and they get along and they school.
I'm not saying they're not cool. I'm saying they're the least cool.
The least
Where
cool.
it only goes up from there.
All right. Okay. So I should look at that as a compliment, not as a diss.
You were ready to fight about it,
I
too.
was. Yeah.
The thing I love about autos is that of the plecos, they're the ones that give me their face just seems like they're the saddest, but their body posture is like so happy. So you're like, at least me, I'm getting these mixed signals of it's like, why does his face look so sad, but his body posture looks so excited?
Yeah, that's kind of a classic look for those guys. You
Yeah.
know, their arch nemesis is the pygmy cory cat.
It's hilarious to think of either of those fish having an arch nemesis.
They'll fight.
But I know that they will actually fight because they're adult fish and they can do that. But to me, it's like a Nerf gun fight.
I'm picturing like you put them in like tanks side by side, and they're looking through the glass and they're like sharpening their switchblades or something.
That's awesome. What other loricariids are there? The
So-
autos, the whiptails and farloellas.
Yeah, the twig catfish. We should go into bristlenose and the cult following now that they have.
It's really blown up.
Yeah, you know the cool name thing, the super dragon longfin blue eye lemon drop. That's actually a fish. I mean, there's a strain of bristlenose. Can I repeat? Can I say it again? I don't even know because there was all these names. Super long fin starlight lemon drop, blue eyed lemon drop.
Yeah.
That was close.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm sure that's a thing.
Yeah. If not, write that down. It should be.
Let's make one.
Let's make one. Yeah. So they've been bred in captivity long enough, and they breed really readily because that's a hybrid thing. They tend to do that, and so they're selectively bred for all these traits. And so the long fins have this almost angelic kind of flowy long fin to them. It's a long fin that I don't hate.
Yeah, I normally don't like long fins because I feel like it's inhibiting them somehow. But a fish that just sits on a piece of wood, I'm like, all right, well,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Now
Yeah.
they sit on a piece of wood and look majestic.
Yeah. It's like we do get a down on like captive breeding and stuff like that, but I'm so excited for this. Like, it's already a fake fish. Let's just get weird with it.
Yeah. You might as well. And it's a fake fish that is so, it serves such a good purpose. Like, they do a great job of, in a well-maintained aquarium, keeping it looking clean.
Yeah. And
Notice I said looking clean, not cleaning the tank. They do a good job with algae.
one of the reasons we referenced earlier we can't get regular bristlenose anymore is because all the breeders have turned to these strains because they're cool, they're new, they go for a little more money at auctions.
They do.
Same amount of effort, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same amount of effort to breed them. You get to make it your own, and I totally get it. But right now, they still know what they're worth, so that means that the price of bristlenose in general have gone way up because we can't get the regulars anymore. I'm so looking forward to the next couple of years where these strains become mainstream and then they move on to even crazier new strains.
Yeah. Just think of how betas have changed just in the last 5 years.
Yeah. It's going to be fun to watch.
5 years ago, there was no such thing as koi betas. We never saw koi betas 5 years ago. And now they're like, we have 6 of them in stock.
Yeah.
That's going to happen with the bristlenose too.
Yeah, genetics are so cool.
Yep. I have one little goofy, silly little soapbox for that, though. Super red. There's nothing red about a super red. That's not red.
It's not red.
That's orange.
It is orange.
It's brownish orange.
It's not definitely not
red.
super red.
No, there's nothing red there.
But you know what?
Come on.
Still pretty.
It is, but call it a super orange. Call it what it is. Call it a flame.
Okay.
Ooh.
See,
that has
that's
to be
what
the long
fin.
fin.
There we go.
Wow.
But it's not red. There are so many of those. The cherry red zebra cichlid. It's not red. It's orange. Okay, I'm off.
But on the flip side, those lemon drop ones, that's a legit lemon yellow.
That's a legit lemon yellow.
I
Absolutely.
was shocked the first time I saw one of those.
For sure.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I think the lemon blue eyes are my favorite.
Same.
Like the bright yellow body, the bright blue eyes.
Long
really.
fin or short fin?
I could go either way. I don't really care.
I see the long fin calico blue eye is the one I like the best. I've always had a calico thing though.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're just like a little bit messier. Not messier, but like less arranged than the spotted. Like
I
what
like the
the lemon
chaos.
drop is.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I can handle the chaos. I thrive in it. You should see the wood shop. I mean, that's chaos.
There's a method to that madness.
There is.
I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
The method
Just
is,
don't
I think I
trip
left it over there.
Yep.
Oh,
That
this
about
was a
sums it
much more fun conversation than I was hoping it would be.
You were hoping it would not
We
be
really
fun?
try to be mean, but I love plecos, you guys. I don't
know,
want to
me
hate
too.
them.
And even common plecos, they are absolutely amazing fish.
Mm-hmm.
They belong in their natural habitat. That's it.
Yeah.
But they're amazing fish.
I love plecos. I dread whenever anyone asks me plecos, though, because I don't care how much about Plecos. You know jack about Plecos.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know nothing about them. We know nothing about them. The researchers know something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, can you guys get L134?
I mean-
This is 15 minutes for me to research to figure out which one is L134. And oh, by the way, I should have mentioned this about L numbers. L134 and L135, not even closely related. Nothing similar about L134 and L135. By the way, I have no idea which one L134 and 135 are. I just know they're not related because they are taxonomically numbered based on when they were discovered.
You were the 134th one we found, so you're L134.
That is
they may have been
that is
described by the same
it.
person, but that's
Right. Right. Oh, and don't
Yeah.
even go into the LDA numbers, and there's one other classification.
Yeah, I only
too.
learned about the LDA thing
Yeah.
this weekend. What is that?
That's because they thought they were running out of L numbers, and they were probably repeats, but they weren't sure, so they had to give them different numbers.
Oh.
You know, the
Mm-hmm.
cool thing is that in the last year specifically, I have noticed way more of them getting actual species names.
There are people working on it.
And that's like I feel like we're right in the thick of it right now. And it'll never be resolved because that area is so diverse and things will be changing as quickly as they're discovered,
Right.
or nearly.
Right.
But like we will get something on the list that has both a scientific name, an L number, and an LDA number. And it's like, well, we have a pretty good idea what that is now.
Yeah.
It's been
Yeah,
described
that's
in
very
3
true.
different ways.
It's kind of hard to wrap your head around living in populated areas to recognize there are acres and acres of rainforest that no scientist has ever been to. No white person has ever been to.
Yeah.
Ever. Huge areas. And in all of those areas, there are little micro ecosystems that are going to have all kinds of things that no one's ever seen.
Yeah, we have a tendency as first world humans to think that everything's already been discovered.
Not even close.
No, there's
even
so
close.
much more to know.
Right.
And I will say for the record that our Loricariidae list is usually at least 20 varieties long, whether that's varieties of bristlenose or species of pleco.
Yeah.
So do put in your orders. I promise you we're not going to give you a hard time if you do. But give us the L number,
It's gotta be an
please.
L number.
Or
Yep.
say, hey, I want a cool stripy one. And I'll be like, I got you.
We got I got you. I got you.
Or I want one with polka dots. Totally can do.
Yep. You know what? If someone comes in and says, I want a boring brown one, we got you too.
In 5 or 6 different ways.
Right.
Would you like this shade of brown? You like hand them like what's the painting sheets with like the different shades?
And they're
Oh,
like
yeah,
half a shade difference.
Yeah. Which shade would you like?
Please select from this pile of driftwood what you want your pleco to look like. Oh,
Well, I don't know, guys. I think we covered it. Mm-hmm. I think we talked about why everyone else should hate plecos too. Big takeaway. Don't do comments.
don't.
Do a little bit of research on varieties. Come in and talk to us about varieties. We do actually like talking about the interesting ones.
Just don't expect me to know which one you're talking about right off the bat because, hey, I know a couple dozen. That doesn't even come close to scratching at that.
They don't clean your tank. That's your job. They all eat different things, and don't let your fish go. Don't release fish into the wild. How did we do? Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that summarizes it pretty well. So make sure we keep this discussion going. We're going to post this on Facebook, so you can definitely put some comments under there. But please email us at podcast@watercolorsaquariumgallery.com. I hope you take a lot of this stuff pretty lightly because, honestly, I would love to hear about your pleco setups. I would love to hear how they fit into your tank. I'd love for you to say, what are you guys talking about? I see my pleco every day. You guys are such jerks. All of that, great to hear. Check us out on YouTube. We do unboxings whenever we get new stuff in, and we do often get in a pleco or two every shipment. So make sure you keep in touch with us wherever you can find us.
Thank you so much for listening. We really do appreciate it. Let's have lots of fun and keep those hands wet.